Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Sir Jedi Sentinel, and welcome back to Sentinel Reviews. We are continuing our look at the Marvel miniseries Agatha All Along with Episode 3, Through Many Miles of Tricks and Trials. Written by, one second, I just blanked on the name, Cameron Squires, and directed by Rachel Goldberg. As always, there is a blanket spoiler warning in place because I may decide to talk about spoilers. So if you do not wish to be spoiled, in the description box below, sorry, I thought this was a Big Finish review. No, Agatha All Along is available to watch on Disney Plus, and this was a fantastic episode. Like, I talked about how good episodes 1 and 2 are, and they are. They accomplish the job they do pretty well as the series premiere, and they set up the story really well. But on a quality scale, I would just put them at solid. From those two episodes to this one, the quality just skyrockets because we are starting to get more about the characters, and now that the pieces are assembled, we are starting to get the plot. I will admit this is about what I expected, From the setup we got, a coven has to walk the witch's road to reach the end of it, and in doing so, they will be tested. And it seems like each test has to be passed or solved by a different witch. That's why every member of the coven has a different role. So we had our Jennifer Kale, Sashir Zamata, our potion witch. We have our clairvoyant, Lilia Calderu, Patty Lapone. We have our protector witch, Alice Wu Gulliver, Alion. And I don't actually remember what role Agatha is supposed to fulfill. And then we have our green witch, Sharon Davis, Deborah Jo Rupp. Hopefully I'll remember to talk about that at the end. And in this episode, of course, the focus is on Jennifer Kale, the potion witch. What I like about this episode is we are starting to get more about the characters. Because episode 2 kind of set up why each witch would want to join Agatha and walk the witch's road. Because, they all have various desires they want. Jennifer Kale is a potion witch because she had her power bound, so she can't use her magic. So she wants to walk the witch's road to unbind her powers. Lilia Calderu, it seems, from what little we've gotten, we haven't gotten a lot about her, and they're very vague about it in the way they talk about it. She seems to have had a string of bad luck, and it's pretty much said she wants to turn her luck around. That's all we get right now. And we do get little hints of what that exactly means. And then Alice, who is our protector witch, she wants to know what happened to her mother. Apparently, Alice's mother was this renowned witch, and she actually, in the 80s, in the context of the show, turned the Ballad of the Witch's Road into a rock song. I hope at some point we get to hear that version. So far in full, we've only heard the chant version, which was amazing. And also, 3 episodes in, it looks like every episode is going to be the name of a lyric, is going to be titled a lyric from the Ballad of the Witch's Road. So, we had Seekest Thou the Road, Circle Sown with Fate, Unlock Thy Hidden Gate, and Through Many Miles of Tricks and Trials. And we also, along with what they want at the end of Walking the Witch's Road, we also get a little hint of what they're running from, because they're also running through something. Performances, again, are spectacular. Prior to this, I know she's done other film and TV work. I only knew Sashir Zamata from Saturday Night Live, so I only knew her for her comedy. So, to see her flex some of her more dramatic acting muscles here, she was really good. The highlight is Catherine Hahn as Agatha Harkness again. When the miniseries was first announced, I think after WandaVision, they said, we're going to do an Agatha Harkness series. And then it kept changing its name. At one point it was called Agatha House of Harkness. And then at one point it was called Agatha Coven of Chaos. Until finally they settled on Agatha All Along. Presumably for reasons of meme. hot take, I think the best name for this series, given what the premise is, was Coven of Chaos, but that's neither here nor there. But we are starting to see more of who Agatha is. And I have to admit, when this was the point I was getting to, when the Agatha Harkness series was first announced, this is kind of what I wanted, because, we had in WandaVision the whole thing with the Darkhold. You could make a reading that in WandaVision, Agatha was not the main antagonist of WandaVision, and similarly, Wanda was not the main antagonist of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. In both instances, it was the Darkhold. But also in those two attempts, in those two projects, the attempt to set that up was so horrifically botched. WandaVision did not need an antagonist. It should have just been an exploration of Wanda's grief. And then for Wanda, Multiverse of Madness was just, let's do WandaVision again without any subtlety or nuance and just lean into the tiresome trauma and grief equals evil trope. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I keep going on tangents and avoiding this point. But when the Agatha Harkness series was first announced, this was kind of what I wanted, because the Darkhold was kind of sentient. Agatha has been under its corruptive, evil influence for so long that she needs to figure out, now that the Darkhold is gone, who she is. It's obvious that's not where the series is going, but in this episode, we get little hints of it. Like, we get scenes that really expand on her character. Like when she sees Lilia having some sort of horrific hallucination, she is genuinely... Here, let me backtrack a bit. So, what Jennifer has to do is, the members of the Coven all seemingly drank a poison. And as the potion witch, Jennifer has to figure out what it is and how to brew the antidote that will cure them of the poison. And one of the side effects of this poison they drank is that everyone is seeing these horrific hallucinations. And that is where we lean into their traumas and what they're kind of running from, and part of the reason why they want to reach the end of the Witch's Road. Witch's Road. At one point, Lilia experiences her hallucination. She seems to find herself in Italy. I want to say Renaissance Italy, but the time period isn't exactly clear. And, she sees apparently a bunch of people. She sees like the ghost or the zombie of a little girl and says they're all dead. And when Agatha finds her, she is obviously very concerned about what happened. She sees Lilia having this horrific episode and she just goes, "Are you okay?" And then later in the series, when Jennifer is kind of starting to freak out about whether or not she's brewed the right potion to cure everyone, she's starting to doubt herself, Agatha gives her this very good pep talk. She says, "I never liked you, but I left you behind because I knew how important the work you're doing was." She's starting to, we get this sense of who Agatha was as a person before the Darkhold got to her. And, I think she's had the Darkhold for centuries, so she's trying to find out who she is again. And she is trying to figure out the best way to motivate and strengthen her new coven. And we also get hints of what happened to Agatha, how she got the Darkhold. There's a scene earlier where Sashir Zamata, Jennifer Kale, I am probably going to flip-flop between using the actors' names and the characters' names, is talking to the teen, and she brings up a rumor that Agatha sold her son in exchange for the Darkhold. Also, the MCU's been going on for over a decade now, and we finally get a name drop for Mephisto, which is hilarious. Just on social media, to make a Doctor Who comparison, Mephisto is the MCU's version of the Ronnie. Anytime something shows up or a mysterious character shows up, everyone's always like, "Oh, is it Mephisto?" And it's never Mephisto. Similar to in Doctor Who, how there's always speculation that it's gonna be the Ronnie, and it's never the Ronnie. So that was fun. It also kind of gives us this little baited hook that the teen may be Nicholas Scratch. In the comics, Nicholas Scratch was a Fantastic Four villain. He was a powerful warlock who created the Salem Seven, the coven that is hunting down Agatha, the one that Aubrey Plaza mentioned in episode 1. And Nicholas Scratch is Agatha's son. So we get this little bit of baited hook that the teen might be Nicholas Scratch. Personally, I hope that's not the case. I still hope he is Billy Kaplan, Wiccan, Wanda's son. Also, for nothing else, that, when I looked on Wikipedia, which, yes, it's Wikipedia, to get the episode names and get the writer and director's credit so I can credit them at the start of my reviews. In the cast list, there was a Mr. and Mrs. Kaplan credited. So at this point, whoever the teen is, Nicholas Scratch or Billy Kaplan, it could go either way. My preference is for it to be Billy Kaplan. Not to say that, I'll be disappointed if it's Nicholas Scratch. I'm not gonna say, oh no, you didn't confirm my theory, the show is ruined, because that's what the hate-dom does. But it's just, that is my preference. That's who I want the teen to be. So, and anyway, right in the climax of the episode, we see Agatha have her own horrific hallucination, where she comes across a cradle, she hears a baby crying, and when she goes to it, the Darkhold is in it. But yeah, no, just once again, Catherine Hahn is amazing because now she is starting to flesh out Agatha. She's still that acerbic, witty kind of... I keep wanting to compare her to Missy from Doctor Who, sort of chaotic. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. But, now we're starting to see the layers peeled back. We're starting to find out maybe the person she used to be. As I said, too, all the other cast all get really great stuff to do, especially with their hallucinations, which lean more into the horror. We see Jennifer interact with presumably the person who bound her powers. Mistakenly, in my previous review, I said it was Agatha. That is not the case. I talked about Lilia, and we also see sort of a hallucination from Alice. I talked about she wants to walk the witch's road to discover what happened to her mother. She has a vision where she sees her mother, and her mother sort of breaks down and says, I couldn't protect you. We are cursed, which ties back into a callback from earlier in the episode where the teen notices a tattoo on her arm and she says her mother gave it to her. It's supposed to be a protective charm. We don't get a lot from Sharon this episode, Deborah Jo Rupp's character, because, she also ingests the poison and she's the first to fall unconscious and they don't save her in time. And at the end of the episode, she dies. Like I said in my review of the first 2 episodes, this could have gone one of 2 ways. It's clear Sharon wasn't a witch, but she might go through this arc where she discovers she has this power, or she was going to be the series' requisite Redshirt. It turns out that is the case because right after this episode premiered and I watched it, social media released a trailer advertising that maybe in the upcoming episode, Rio Vidal, Aubrey Plaza's character, was going to return, and the trailers and stuff credited her as the Green Witch, the role that Sharon was fulfilling in the Coven. So, calling back to their deal in episode 1, because Rio showed up wanting to kill Agatha because of their shared past. Agatha made this deal. It's let me get my powers back. You don't want to kill me like this at my weakest. You want me at full power. Let me get my powers back. So it seems they're going to come to some kind of agreement about that. She will fill the role of the Green Witch. She will walk the witch's road to help Agatha get her powers back so that they can then have their fight. Also, presumably on the list of Coven members, it was Rio who Lilia's name wrote on that. Yeah. But yeah, no, episode 3, again, was just a skyrocket in quality from the previously really good first 2 episodes. But those are just my thoughts. Have you seen episode 3? What are yours? Start a conversation in the comments below. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, click the bell next to subscribe to get notifications when I upload, and in the description box below, you will find the links to my socials where you can follow me and get updates on the channel. This is Sir Jedi Sentinel, and I'll see you guys next time.